Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 161. Thank you for joining us, as always, on this SDCC Wednesday evening, Earth date July 25th, 2018. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me, as always, my co-host, Brandon Full. Say hello, Brandon.
Hello, Remington. How are you?
I am high as a kite.
Oh, okay.
I was going to do a Rocket Man thing, and then I screwed it up. I dropped the ball, and
So you're just admitting secrets now.
now I'm just... I did a whole 8-ball of Coke.
You go to Coke a lot.
Well, that's because it's my favorite go-to. It's the rich man's drug.
Yes, it is.
Yes. And as we all know, I'm rolling in that podcast monies.
You have to do cocaine with your pinky out.
Yes.
With one nostril flared more than the other.
Yes. Good times.
It's great to be here with you, Remington.
You couldn't sell the energy level any better than you just did.
I'm selling it.
Poor Brandon walks through my door, and I'm like, "Hey, Brandon Full, how are you?" And he's like, "Okay. Just okay." It's like, okay. And then poor bastard's been sitting here for like an hour and a half waiting on me.
I closed my eyes for a little bit.
Did you?
Yeah.
I just tune you out, Rim. That's what happens when you've been friends for... Fuck, how long have we been friends?
Like 20 years.
Has it been 20 years already?
Probably.
Wow.
It was 7th grade. I was 12 or 13 in 7th grade.
Yeah.
33 now, so...
Wow. We're old friends.
Yes, we are.
That's fucking weird. That's
I've
so
known him
weird.
for 20 years. That still makes me wait.
But I still make you laugh, too.
Yeah, sure.
You son of a bitch. So,
Ha-cha-cha.
how's your last week been?
It's been hectic. It's
Yeah.
been crappy.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Is there anybody on a list that I need to kill?
Yes.
Okay. And you will share that list with me after the podcast?
You're probably aware of who needs killed already.
Okay. I will kill all things.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No, it really hasn't been terrible. I've just been dealing with a lot of kind of personal loss and bullshit in my life.
Yeah.
And trying to come to terms with things is difficult to do.
Change is a butt.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line.
Yeah, and
because
I'm not great at change anyway. Especially when Stone Cold Steve Austin is screaming factoids at me, screaming catchphrases.
Yeah, you see? I don't like change so much that I'm quoting Stone Cold, who hasn't been relevant for 10 years himself.
He does a podcast.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, as a wrestler, as his catchphrase, Stone Cold said so, wrestler, hasn't been relevant for 10 years.
He's like Tinkerbell. We just all need to give him a hell yeah. And that'll bring him back from the edge.
If you want me to wrestle again, give me a hell yeah. I can't because of neck surgery. That was my Stone Cold impression.
That was pretty good. It was like half Stone Cold, half just an old man.
Yeah.
It's me, Stone Cold.
It's me, Stone Cold. He could still kick my ass.
Oh, yeah, absolutely he could.
Yeah. Oh. So, I mean, have you done any fun gaming to pass your time, or have you started anything new or anything like that?
I haven't bought an HDMI cable for my systems yet, so
Okay.
I haven't been playing any games.
Well, fuck, if you need an HDMI cable, I've got one.
I have boxes I've yet to unpack in my apartment. That's what it is. It's the thing is, like, I've moved. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment now, and I'm still waiting for it to feel like home.
Yeah.
But that takes a little bit.
It does.
And I need to unpack my boxes. I think that will help a lot.
And I was going to say, and that is the bigger thing, is that once you unpack said boxes, then it'll feel more like home.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's just going to feel like a cubicle.
So I have an HDMI cord in there. I have a 3DS in there somewhere, too.
Yeah.
I just need to dig through these boxes and start unpacking stuff, and I'll find them.
Yeah.
But I've been playing Pokemon Go still.
Yeah.
Using it as an excuse to just get some exercise.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
How have you been enjoying this humidity?
It's not bad. I mean, I throw on my headphones. I'm staring at my TV or my computer screen.
Yeah.
My phone screen. There we go.
That's the device
screen.
that we're
That's
looking
the
for.
Thing. Staring at my phone screen and kind of walking along a footpath.
Oh, yeah.
So I get into a rhythm with it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the humidity doesn't really bother me too much.
It wasn't too bad the past couple of days, but it picked up a bit yesterday, and it's really humid out there today. I just went and peed before we got properly started, and I was like, oh, damn, it's humid out here.
Are you sure it wasn't your urine?
Pretty sure, yeah.
How percentage-wise sure?
70% sure.
That it was your urine?
That it was not my urine.
Okay, see, I'm not following.
Okay. What happens is, when I go to pee, I sweat my pee out.
Interesting.
But I only do it in a bathroom because that's what I've been conditioned to do.
So that sounds like humidity.
Yeah.
So it was your pee?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably.
You've really come full circle on that.
Did anybody else out there in podcast land follow it? Nope. Okay, moving on.
Are any other podcasters talking about sweat and pee? Fuck no.
Shit, no. This is the only place you can get podcasters talking about sweating their own pee.
Dueling Ogres, a subsidiary of James Gunn and Harvey Weinstein. Damn it. I keep meaning to change our subsidiary. Why do we have these on our business cards?
You just keep picking the worst people to subsidize to. I knew I never should have let you in charge of the subsidations.
Oh, we'll definitely get into James Gunn later, because I think you and I probably both have some very strong things to say on this.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's ground that we've tread before.
Yeah, that's my kind of trepidation with the whole thing. We'll get into it.
It'll probably be brief, but
yeah,
anybody who has been a long time listener will know our feelings on it already. So
yeah,
let's then get going.
Yeah, have you been up to anything?
Last episode we had a little bit of a fuzz going on in the background of the mics. Hopefully it's better now. I don't know what it was. I think it was the computer building up a charge in the USB buses and the actual physical buses on the motherboard. I don't know. Hopefully it's all gone. It didn't sound terrible, but it was definitely noticeable, and it drove me nuts.
Yeah. I listened to some of the episode, and I didn't pick up anything.
Yeah. And it probably comes primarily from the fact that I listen to us, every week that we record, and I know what we're supposed to sound like now. So when something's off, it's pretty easy for me to pick up. But other than that, I was trying to think of what all I've been doing. I mean, I've been working. I've been doing the Lurk Squad thing. So that's my, for those of you who may not know, that's my Twitch community of streamers that I'm involved in.
Lurk Squad?
Lurk Squad, LURXQUAD. Yep. So,
Lurk Skid.
Lurk Squids. Huh? Oh man, I need to get Carly on that.
I'm gonna make my own Twitch group called Lurk Squids.
No, you can't.
You son of a bitch. I'll take it.
You can't. Okay. I can't argue with you. I can't stay mad at you.
God.
So yeah, just been doing that on my downtime, being involved in the community, being a community leader in that, and just coming up with new ideas, retweeting people, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So nothing too exciting, really. We've got some stuff that we're working on in the background that doesn't really pertain to Dueling Ogres, but all working towards the goal of doing different things to actually get Dueling Ogres out there more as well.
Okay.
So the more people that get down with Lurk Squad, the more people have the potential to see Dueling Ogres stream, and the more people who watch Dueling Ogres stream, the more people I can potentially convert passively to listening to our podcast.
It doesn't seem like there's a lot of crossover between those two mediums, though.
Not a ton. Now, if we can get to the point where we actually start live streaming the podcast, I think we'll be a lot. Number one, we'll have content going out 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Basically, 3 live streams a week, and one of them being the podcast. I think that would be awesome. I know that the one time recently that we did a live stream, it was received really well.
Yeah, people seem to enjoy it.
Yeah, people liked hanging out and watching us. So I'd like to do that more. I really would. We should figure out the logistics of that and just do it.
Every week? I know we talked about doing it like once a month.
Yeah. I still think we could probably do once a month just to get used to it. But we should probably start... I should probably start sharing my Coke with you. That way we can both be on it when we do. Because I feel like if we're just too tired to...
Yeah.
Then, and it seems like the last couple of weeks, you've been too tired, I've been too tired, you've been too tired.
I'm fucking ready to go.
Are you fucking blazing right now?
I'm blazing, bro.
Yeah, I can see the fire in your eyes, Brandon.
I'm on fire right now.
You should probably address that because it's starting to smell.
It's all the hair.
Yes.
It's all the hair and grease.
Wait, are we talking about you or me now?
Talking about me. That's why they call me Grease Trap.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
Who calls you Grease Trap? I've never heard this before. Everybody?
Everybody, yeah. You don't know my other group of friends. They all call me. They're like, here comes old Grease Trap. They love me.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's on account of all the grease I trap in me.
What the hell? This got weird.
See, I have energy. Let's live stream. Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm ready.
I'll turn it on right now. I don't give a fuck.
Do it. Let's go. Live stream San Diego Comic-Con news.
Yeah, we're not doing that. I'm totally not prepared for it.
Yeah. And nobody would be there anyway. Because you need a preparation, right?
Not really. No, I mean, I could turn it on right now. But I don't have any of the cams set up or any of the transitions and stuff set up. So
let the record show that you were the one that said you weren't ready. After talking shit on me, being tired, you were the one that wasn't ready. I could punch you in the face. I have so much energy.
Technologically, not ready. Energy-wise, I'm there.
Me too.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay.
What do you got for stories? I got stories all day.
So we're going to talk
stories all day, by the way.
Okay.
I have like 5 stories.
5 stories is probably more than enough to get out of a podcast from us.
Fair enough.
We figured we'd probably talk about SDCC news because that's primarily what's going on in the nerd world these days. So I'll start off with a little bit of tech news instead. How about that?
Do you want to end with San Diego Comic-Con news?
I think most of the podcast is going to be SDCC, so I'm going to start off with the one piece of tech news that I have.
Okay.
So SDCC happened, and that is a thing that has gone and passed.
Yes.
But right now, the next conference is going on, which is a technology conference. Google announced a new product called the Titan Security Key, which is currently available to cloud customers and scheduled for general sale in the coming months. So basically, it's your standard security dongle for unlocking your accounts. So you either plug it in via USB or you near field communicate with it with a Bluetooth.
Oh, okay.
So you like most phones nowadays, most higher end phones, you can actually sync up to your computer and make it make your computer a known device. And when you sit down at your computer, your phone screen will come on. You don't have to unlock it or anything.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
For what purpose?
Just so you don't have to constantly, if you're doing stuff on your computer and you're multitasking on your phone, you don't have to unlock your phone every time you set it down after it times out 2 minutes later.
Okay.
So similar technology. This will be Bluetooth oriented, or you can get, like I said, a USB dongle and just plug it into your computer. They say that this kind of technology is actually much safer than two-factor authentication, as long as you don't lose your device. They revealed that they had completely cut phishing attacks against more than 85,000 employees by making them use this hardware security key. It's a small USB drive-sized device that handles online logins, and they're proven to be even more secure than other two-factor authentication methods. Today, Google announced that its workers were actually testing the company's own security devices, the Titan Key. They'll compete directly with similar products from YubiKey, which Google has been recommending for years. The Titan will come in 2 FIDO-compatible versions. FIDO stands for Fast Identity Online, FIDO. So it's a little bit of a stretch as far as acronyms
I think that's
go.
a little cheating.
Yeah. The FIDO Alliance is an industry consortium launched in February 2013 to address the lack of interoperability among strong authentication devices and the problems users face creating and remembering multiple usernames and passwords. That was a mouthful.
Yeah.
So going back to it, the Titan key will come in 2 FIDO-compatible versions, one that'll plug in the USB and another that works on Bluetooth, which lets it work with mobile devices. Since you actually have to be near your computer or phone, they don't have the risk of being intercepted like SMS-based two-factor authentication, but of course you'll still have to avoid losing them. So this is basically repeating what I've already said. No price details as of yet. This article is on Engadget. If you want to go read it yourself, it's a very short little read. I pretty much covered everything in it.
So I wonder if you would need to own multiples of these or if you would just own the one.
I imagine that you can just use the one and load multiple accounts onto it. That's usually how those keys work, if I remember correctly.
Through Google accounts.
Yeah.
Like you'd be using your Gmail account or basically your Google Plus account.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Does something like this, they said something like this already exists?
Yes.
They were recommending it for years and then they just kind of took the idea?
Yes, pretty much. YubiKey. It's probably more cost effective for Google to just come up with their own. I mean, they have the technology, so why not?
Yeah.
Right? Just do a bunch of in-house stuff for testing and it'll all work out or they can do all the working out that they need to do. They can do all the product testing on their own employees.
You think YubiKey's got to be a little bit like, what the fuck, Google? Right? If Google's been suggesting YubiKey for years, and then suddenly Google's like, "Hey, we have our own now." Is it YubiKey?
It's
YubiKey?
YubiKey with a Y.
Okay.
So it's not.
I was saying it like Ubisoft.
Right. As you would, because Ubisoft doesn't have a Y.
Yeah.
But the Y in front indicates the Y sound.
The
YubiKey. What was the fucking question you asked? I don't remember now.
That YubiKey would have to be irritated that Google recommended them for so long and then just suddenly comes up with their own thing.
Well, I mean, I don't think that it was exactly like a partnership going on there. They just said Google was just like, hey, this is a good thing to use if you want a more secure authentication process.
Yeah. Well, that'll put YubiKey out of business, I'm sure.
Maybe not. Maybe they're a subsidiary of Google in the first place.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't really know for sure.
I guess we don't really know enough about it to speak.
Yeah.
Much like most topics.
Yeah.
We don't really know enough about it to have a good conversation. But by God, we'll push through it anyway.
That's right, we will. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I've always had a mixed feeling about these authentication dongles that you would carry around with you to plug in to log into sites. I guess I can see the security of it, but at the same time, it seems like a minor inconvenience. But I guess the next question is, what is a minor inconvenience if you want your data protected?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
If you were higher up the chain and we're getting more sensitive documents on a more regular schedule,
yeah,
you would want this, I'm sure.
So if anybody out there wants to start sending us sensitive documented stories, I'll get one of these.
Yeah, send us confidential information.
Yeah.
I encourage it.
We'll be whistleblowers. It's fine.
Yeah. Nothing bad has ever happened to a whistleblower in the country.
We don't have much to lose anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I think we would go to jail very hard.
I mean, yeah, but it'd be like a white-collar jail.
Would it?
Probably.
I could do white-collar jail.
Yeah.
They have TVs in there.
Yeah. I'm rough enough to make it in a white-collar jail.
You're what?
Rough enough.
I would be like a sweet candy. I'd be like a Thanksgiving turkey. They just crack me wide open.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I'd be the guy in the white-collar jail that everybody else was afraid of.
You'd be the guy cracking people open.
Yeah. You got a pretty mouth, boy. That's the thing about
pretending to be in jail, or are you saying that to me right now?
Both. That's like when you go to a white collar jail, I guess you don't have to find the biggest, meanest looking guy and beat his ass.
Yeah.
You have to outperform his stock portfolio.
You just walk up to him and slap down a manila folder.
Yeah. This is 4 reams thick, motherfucker.
Oh. Imagine being the toughest, meanest looking guy in jail. In regular jail.
In regular jail?
You'd had to be sick of people trying to punch you, right? Like, that whole idea that you find the roughest, meanest looking guy and punch him your first day.
Yeah.
That's been an idea for a long time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
When you're that guy, you have to see new people coming in just like, oh, God damn it, not again.
Yeah.
Can I just go one day without somebody trying to punch me in the face?
I feel like you don't get to be the biggest, meanest looking motherfucker by having that mentality. Like, you probably enjoy and relish the idea of getting into your next fight.
Of somebody trying to fuck with you.
Bring it on, you piece of shit.
Yeah, I guess I am projecting my thoughts onto the biggest, toughest guy there. Like,
yeah.
Oh, geez.
Oh, boy. I don't want to be in another brawl again.
Not a scrap.
Oh, come on, fellas. Can't we all just have a nice cup of Joe?
Brandon in prison. End scene.
Just see you just muscle bound, constantly lifting out in the yard.
Yeah.
Nonstop. Have this real intense stare on you. But you're reading, like, Faust.
In my head, it's just like, oh, golly.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
yeah.
Beans.
That's dumb.
Yeah, it's all stupid.
So let's move on to the SDCC stuff, then.
Alrighty.
Do it.
This, I thought, was an interesting story. Batman, the animated series.
Okay.
Had its, I think it was either 10 or 20 year panel.
20, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20. Easily.
Maybe even 25.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, they had their panel. I probably should have written that part down.
It's fine. It's whatever.
They finally announced the animated series Blu-ray release date.
Oh, wow.
It hasn't been released. It's being released on October 16th.
I didn't know they hadn't released it on Blu-ray.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, as popular as that show was, it hadn't been released in Blu-ray.
That's really weird.
It's a collector's edition. That's the only way to get it. It's $113. You get 84 episodes of the show. 24 episodes of Batman The New Adventures, Mask of the Phantasm movie, and Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero movie.
Okay.
You also get postcards, a behind-the-scenes featurette, and 3 Funko Pops of Harley Quinn, Batman, and the Joker.
Wow.
They're like mini Funko figures.
Oh, like tinier ones?
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I seriously am considering pre-ordering it. You can pre-order it through Amazon.
Nice. So I guess that means I have to put an Amazon link to it down below for the pre-order.
Yeah.
I'll totally do that.
Do it.
I will.
I love Batman the Animated Series.
Me too. That was one of the best. I mean, that's where you find the best Joker, too. Mark Hamill's Joker, it will always be my favorite Joker.
And you had so many episodes. They were comedy. They were dark.
Yeah, it could go all over the place. There were darker ones. There were lighter ones. You had Batman laughing and freaking Harley Quinn out.
Yeah.
Stop that. Why are you laughing? Well, in fact, on 2 separate occasions, if I remember correctly, he freaks out Harley and then he freaks out the Joker by doing it as well.
By laughing?
Yeah, by laughing. Batman laughing. And it is the most awkward laugh ever, too. Having Kevin Conroy laugh as Batman in the Batman voice, or something similar to that. Ridiculous. Yeah. Ridiculous. So it makes perfect sense that they would be very freaked out by that.
And then I'm not familiar with Batman The New Adventures.
I don't really remember that either. I figured they would do like maybe Batman Beyond or something.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of Batman New Adventures. I don't remember New Adventures.
Batman New Adventures might be the ones that had Robin in them. No, Robin was in Batman the Animated Series later on.
Yeah.
New Adventures maybe, because I feel like I can picture the logo for it. Yeah. So it had Nightwing and Robin with it.
Yeah, apparently. That one ran from 97 to 99. I don't remember if I actually watched any of those. Because it also had Batgirl in it as well. That's
same art style and everything, though.
Oh yeah, I think I did watch some of it, but I didn't watch it as religiously as Batman the Animated Series. I think is what it would be.
It's exciting they're releasing it on Blu-ray too, because I have the entire series downloaded off of Pirate Bay, but it's like VHS and TV rips of it,
right?
DVD rips where it just does not look that good.
Yeah,
and it's one of those shows that I'm happy to support by buying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And then, of course, Mask of the Phantasm, which was the classic movie.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Because I saw that in
Yes.
theaters.
I did not see it in theaters, though. I ended up watching it. I think it was a replay on television. Back when it took forever for something to come to television.
Yeah.
I think it was like 6 months or a year later after it came out in theaters.
Yeah, they turned it into a 3-part
Yeah.
episode on animated series.
Yeah. So I did watch it. I don't remember it super well now. It's been a long time since I watched it. But yeah. No, that's definitely something to look forward to. Did they have a release date?
Yeah, October 16th.
October 16th of this year.
Yes.
And you can pre-order it on Amazon now.
Yep.
By clicking the link below.
Yes.
Okay.
That gives us a little bit of money.
That's right. Shh. We don't talk about affiliate. The first rule of affiliates is we don't talk about affiliates.
It may or may not give us a little bit of money.
That's why it says down at the bottom of the site.
Yeah.
This site contains some affiliate links. So since we're in the DC universe anyway, talking about stuff that's come out in the SDCC, we just watched the Shazam trailer and the Aquaman trailer. So let's start off with the Aquaman trailer because I think it was good, but I think the Shazam one was better.
Yeah. Oh, the Shazam one was definitely better.
So Jason Momoa as Aquaman, looking pretty badass.
Yeah.
I like I said before, he's a bit of a man crush. I really enjoy his, not only his acting, but his physique. I think that there's a fair amount of humor that's been kind of written into this. Almost like Aquaman is just kind of, he's not royal. He's not regal, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Previous Aquaman iterations have been like, we've had the milksop one of the, late 80s in the cartoon shows.
Yeah.
The one who had the fucking talking to fish sort of deals.
That was like 60s.
Oh, was it 60s?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was like seconds later in the Hall of Justice.
Yeah.
That was that.
Super
era.
Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blonde, the orange fish scaled top and the green pantaloons.
And you have the 90s version of Aquaman. Do you remember him?
He was the one who, white, blonde, longer hair, right?
Yeah. Long blonde hair, a fish hook for a hand.
A fish hook for a hand that eventually became like a water hook.
Yeah.
So, like through magic or something.
I totally forgot about the water hook hand.
Yeah. And I think he was missing an eye too. I think that's when they were trying to make Aquaman a little more edgy.
Probably.
And
I don't know, take his eye.
Yeah.
Give him some scars or something.
Give him some scars, give him a fish hook for a hand, but make it a magical water fish hook.
Yeah, we don't want a regular fish hook. What do you think this is?
I think it could turn into different things too. I think it was like a barbed spike or a hook yeah.
It's like they just hired a bunch of kids in a room to be like, what would make Aquaman cool? If he had a morphing hand.
Yeah, if he had an eye patch. If he had long hair and played the metal guitar. Which he did in that one episode.
He played the metal guitar?
No, I'm just making shit up now.
I want to recommend, and I may have mentioned this on the podcast before years ago. But
okay.
If I have, I want to recommend it again.
Okay.
I tried to get you and Kevin to watch this probably 2 years ago. Go on YouTube and search Aquaman fan movie.
I did end up watching it at one point.
Did you?
Yes.
It's a fan-made Aquaman movie that's made to look like it was done in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's about 20 minutes long, I'd say. Maybe a little bit longer, but no longer than 30 minutes.
Okay.
And it is the cheesiest but greatest Aquaman thing ever.
Yeah.
It really made me enjoy Aquaman as a character. He throws a starfish like a throwing star and it latches onto somebody's face and they can't breathe and they're like, oh no. But yeah, I want to recommend that to the listeners. Go check out, search Aquaman fan trailer or Aquaman fan movie.
We'll link that shit.
Okay.
I'll link it all day. I don't care. I'll put all the links in.
Okay, so go down to the links and watch this. It's worth your time. It is hilarious, and it's Aquaman done correctly.
So what did you think about the actual trailer?
I thought the trailer looked good.
So here's what I saw in the trailer. I saw Jason Momoa as Aquaman, playing Aquaman. I saw Black Manta with his big old domey head and his giant glowing eyes, and I saw potential love interest Ariel, mermaid princess of King Triton.
Yeah, she just wants to be where the people are.
Yeah, she wants to see them dancing.
I'm all about that because I'm a fan of redheads.
Yeah,
as you may have noticed in the past.
Yeah,
so I'm all about that redhead life.
Did you really just say that?
Hashtag YOLO.
I'm all about that redhead life. What has happened to us,
I'm
Brandon?
giving a spoiler for my new back piece tattoo.
Did we just become trendy?
Fleek.
Oh, we're on fleek. We're on fleek today.
Can you genuinely name something the kids say today? Because I really can't.
Poggers.
Poggers?
Yeah.
Kids playing pogs?
No.
Like professional pog players?
No. There's one guy in the Lurk Squad who there is an emote called PogChamp in Twitch. And this guy says things are poggers. Things are straight poggers. That's as if to say that they are cool. Now, I don't know how rampant or prevalent the use of this phrase is, but he says it a lot.
Okay.
He's like, oh yeah, man, that's totally poggers.
That's got to be a reference to pogs.
I think originally, I mean, it would have to be. I don't know, but
Or it's a weird offshoot of bonkers.
No, I think it's probably more. Either way, it is interesting because it does bring back memories of pogs. Man, we were simpler kids back in the day. Like, pogs are the equivalent of ball in a cup for the generation previous to us.
Yeah. Well, the generation now is going to have the equivalent of ball in a cup. It's going to be like, man, can you believe they played Fortnite on one screen?
Yeah.
Can you believe they played a game not in 3D?
I don't know if it'll grow the same way, though. I don't know if that'll be the way that things go. Like, I'm talking about toys. You know, these were fucking cardboard discs. Not even really cardboard so much as really thick cardstock.
Yeah, it was really
like,
shitty material.
Super thick cardstock and then weighted freaking coins that you would throw onto these and bounce them all over the place. I don't even fucking remember the rules, and I don't think I fully understood the rules back in the day when I had Pogs.
The only thing I can remember is that you stacked Pogs as high as you could, and then you took your slammer and you threw your slammer at the Pogs.
Onto the top of them.
Whatever you knocked off were the Pogs you get to keep.
Yeah. I remember there was
playing for the coolest Pogs.
And there was fights. People would fight about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the fucking playground.
My favorite is I had some Lucky Charms Pogs that I got from a box of Lucky Charms. I took two ones that I had of the same piece and I wrapped them in foil and I made my own slammer.
Nice. That's impressive.
So that's some street cred right there.
Yeah.
Street cred.
Street cred.
That's the street cred.
That's the street cred. It's the street creds.
Redhead life. So yeah, Pogs, simpler time, Aquaman.
All right. I don't know how we got
Aquaman.
Pogwaman. There are a lot of really cool scenes throughout the movie. There's talking underwater, which is weird to see in real life. Like, you always you suspend this disbelief when you're watching fucking SpongeBob or when you're watching a cartoon, but to see live people talking underwater,
like standing and having conversations.
Yeah. Underwater. It's a little weird. It's hard to put that suspense of belief in there.
Because in real life, every other sentence would be like, huh?
Yeah.
Repeat that.
Because sound doesn't move the same in water as it does in air.
Yeah.
And that would mean that, like, in order for that to work, okay, I'm sorry, my nerd brain's acting up.
I want the listeners to picture you, Remington, as you give this argument, as the one guy in the focus group who watched this movie who stands up at the end when they're like, did anybody have any other comments on this movie?
Actually, excuse me, I would like to point out one serious flaw in the delivery of this movie.
Yes, the gentleman in the back in the Gravity Falls shirt. Go ahead.
I totally am wearing a Gravity Falls shirt right now. Seriously, let's say that you could project enough that your lungs, which I guess in this case you'd have to have gills too. Like, that's the other thing. Okay, does he have gills? Does he have both?
If he has gills or if he can just breathe water.
Is it magic? Like, that's what I want to know. Okay, so barring that garbage right there, in order to produce enough sound that somebody across from you can hear you and make out what you're saying, you'd have to be really loud.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And you'd have to be forcing air into the vocal cords enough to create enough sound to resonate through the water so somebody could hear you. You'd have to be loud.
Yes.
So that means when he's on land, he would be screaming at the top of his lungs at all times.
You're saying that he wouldn't know how to regulate his voice?
He wouldn't know how to regulate his voice. Now, that being said, as we see in the trailer, he starts off as a baby on land.
Yeah.
So at that point, once he's underwater, he'd have no concept of how to talk underwater.
He probably has gone swimming before, though.
Yeah, but
he lives in like a lakeside town.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, he would only know what his body would know.
Yeah.
Growing up in a land-based environment. So once he got underwater, he wouldn't have the physical capacity to resonate hard enough.
Well, it shows in the trailer when he gets knocked into the aquarium tank that he's talking to that shark.
Yeah.
Or he's communicating with that shark.
Telepathic.
And it seems like this is the first time he realized he can do this.
Yeah.
And
But he picks up on it real quick.
Yeah. What would you put his age at in that?
Probably 7 or 8, yeah.
7 or 8, yeah. So he knows that he can talk to animals by 7 or 8, that he can talk to sea creatures.
Yeah.
So maybe he starts to realize when he swims that he needs to just talk a little louder underwater versus on land.
And then it's still...
Mom, I'm hungry!
And then it still wouldn't translate to this clear vocal sound that you're getting from these actors. Like, it would still be a muffled mess.
Yeah.
So
movie ruined is what you're saying?
Yes. Hashtag movie ruined.
Okay, does anybody else have any? I like the dolphins. Thank you.
Of course you like the fucking dolphins. Get out of here.
Everybody likes the dolphins.
Fucking idiot. So Shazam.
Yeah, Shazam.
Going back to it, I still like it. I would like to see it. I almost feel like DC finally might hit a good mark with Aquaman.
Mm.
I mean, Batman movies aside, Batman kind of stands on its own, but even they have been kind of eh.
Yeah, they already did pretty well with Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman got good reviews, very good reviews. This one looks like it'll be able to stand on its own. It'll be good as well. Shazam looks fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how they were going to do it. I like that they called back to the fact that Shazam is a ridiculous name, especially in this day and age.
Yeah.
So in the trailer, we see Billy Madsen, who is a foster child, a little bit troublesome as some foster kids have a tendency to be, especially if they've bounced around houses. They feel like nobody really loves them or cares for them. They're on their own. They're loners.
Yeah, the lady he's with mentions that he's been to 6 foster homes so far.
Yeah.
And run away from all of them.
So she pleads with him to give this new family a chance. He meets his new brother who has a disability. Apparently, this family takes in many foster kids. There is some mild joking that ensues in that. Cut to school, the handicapped kid gets picked on. Billy takes the crutch of the kid and beats the shit out of his assailants.
Yeah.
And then runs from them, ends up on the subway line. Doors close, he's safe from the bullies. The car magically shuts down and Billy hears a incorporeal voice call out and say, "I choose you, Billy Madsen." Billy Batson. Fuck.
That's okay.
I choose you, Billy Batson. I think I was saying it wrong a little bit ago, but Billy Batson.
Yeah.
I don't know why I wanted to say Madsen.
Billy Madsen. You're thinking
Billy Madison.
Oh, they choose me.
Oh, I'm going to be a real boy now. Yeah. Fucking.
It's a way different movie.
Yeah. Billy Batson. I choose you. Like a Pokemon.
Yeah.
And the doors open up and everything's frosted over and he walks out and he meets the wizard Shazam. And he says, you have to say my name, or you have to say the word in order to gain my power. He's like, well, I don't know who you are, sir. He's like, Shazam. He's like, really? Say it, okay. And boom, he does. He's transformed into a large man in a red spandex suit, and still the mentality of a boy. So fun ensues from there. It's pretty funny. If you haven't watched the trailer, go watch the trailer. Definitely looking forward to seeing this one.
Yeah. I like, that's one of the few interesting things I find about Shazam is the whole duality of him being a young boy trapped in the body, or not trapped, but inhabiting the body of like this super buff adult superhero.
Yeah.
Because when he keeps the fact that he's a little boy a secret from a lot of people.
Yeah.
So he's playing grown up basically and fighting alongside Superman and Batman, making these grand decisions about the fate of humanity while also having the mentality of like a 14-year-old kid.
Yeah. Which is interesting because as we age, we tend to lose, I mean, we've talked about this before, but as we age, we tend to lose the black and white duality of the world and notice more and more gray as we grow. Sometimes bad things happen and there's nothing you can do about it. Sometimes bad things happen and good comes out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes bad decisions have to be made in order for a better outcome overall. And that is the crux of what it is to be an adult, especially being an adult with powers in this instance.
Yeah.
In a superhero fueled universe. Yeah, you're right. The duality of it will be interesting. I think there's a lot of different ways that you can play it, which have been tread on in the comics and in the animated series. In most cases, they show, in the animated series anyway, most of the time Shazam, previously Captain Marvel, but since there's so much confusion.
Everybody calls him Shazam anyway. They were just like, okay, we'll just change his name to Shazam.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, he was formerly known as Captain Marvel, just if anybody was curious. And I imagine, I think it's fair that they might even make a callback to that in the movie that they didn't show in the trailer. Like when they're trying to come up with his superhero name, I bet. I will bet.
Yeah, that's a good bet.
Yeah. So look for that. Maybe I'll be right. Maybe I'll be wrong.
If you're right, you're the best podcaster in the world.
Yes.
If you're wrong, you're the second best podcaster in the world.
Yes. I can live with the second best.
Did you watch the Godzilla trailer? Because I did not. Because I just didn't really care about Godzilla.
I did not.
Okay.
And I also did not care about the Godzilla trailer.
Fair enough. We'll skip that.
Okay.
What'd you think about Disenchantment? Matt Groening's new TV show.
Yes,
coming out on Netflix.
Matt Groening doing a new show. I was not impressed with the trailer. I really wasn't. I don't know if it was just too fast paced. I don't know if they're trying to cram too many ideas in. I don't know if I just don't like. I can't put my finger on what I don't care for about it. Just the whole thing just seemed kind of meh to me.
Uh-huh.
We see a lot of kind of different callbacks. We see kind of like a Game of Thrones thing with a sword chair. We see a Princess Bride kind of feel to it. We see a princess not wanting to be basically betrothed to a prince, it seemed like, realizing that she wants more out of life.
Yeah.
Is there something more than this provincial life?
You have her, you have like a little elf guy that she's with.
Yeah.
And then some sort of
Elfo or something, I think is his actual name.
And then some sort of dark demon monster.
The demon is supposed to be Elfo, who's like the uber innocent character. Lucy is apparently the demon's name. It's a literal and figurative personal demon of Princess Bean.
Oh, okay.
So what did you think of it? Since I wasn't super impressed by it.
I like it.
Do you?
But it's an easy sell. Sword and sorcery stuff is an easy sell for me.
Yeah.
Especially parody sword and sorcery stuff, I enjoy a lot.
Right.
Matt Groening has shown through Futurama where he did that D&D movie.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
I don't remember either, but I know which one you're talking about.
He's shown that between him and his writers that they have a lot of love for this kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I think there's going to be a lot of those jokes in there. And I mean, I'm such a little whore for D&D stuff. Any sort of D&D jokes they make, any sort of like, wait, you're a ranger, you shouldn't be able to do that. God, I love it. So.
Yeah. It is coming out on Netflix. It'll be a 10-episode run premiering August 17th. Don't really know for sure if it'll come close to being as popular as Futurama was in its first run or The Simpsons. But if you like that kind of high fantasy jokesterism, then it may be up your alley. I will absolutely give it a chance once it comes out on Netflix. I'll make sure to utilize my Netflix
dark connections
to watch it, because I'll be damned if I'm going to pay for Netflix.
Not paying $11 a month.
Fuck that. Massive. I don't have time for it. Not worth it. It's really not worth me having cable either, but
yeah,
that's not my decision.
I think Ginger would go crazy.
I was going to say, that's not my decision. Yeah. I would be just fine with just the internet. But
can I say I'm kind of tired of Matt Groening's art style, though?
Really?
Yeah. Like the buck teeth that he's drawn on the characters is just, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just...
I mean, it's his signature art style.
Yeah, it is. And that's what it is. It's just his signature art style.
Yeah.
And it's been around for a lot of years, so there's not really any getting away from it either. It does look, the trailer does look kind of not up to par as as Futurama and The Simpsons. It seems much more indicative of early Simpsons before they had, scores of Taiwanese artists doing the work.
Yeah. It seems like what we're watching in the trailer is the pilot. Is 100% just the pilot.
Yeah, for sure. So we shall see.
Yeah. We had a lot of other trailers too.
Yeah. So since we're kind of falling down that trailer hole, we had a whole lot of stuff come out.
Most of the stuff I didn't really care about.
There's a lot of stuff that, as a rule, we don't really care about, but there are some stuff that's interesting for a lot of people out there. They're bringing back Young Justice, something that I think we could be, that we were on board. Did you enjoy Young Justice? Did you ever watch it?
I didn't watch Young Justice.
I did. I really enjoyed it.
What was it?
It was a slightly more adult version of Teen Titans.
Oh, okay.
Very similar along that vein. And it was massively popular. And when they canceled it, the long and short of it is what people don't seem to realize about some of these cartoons is that cartoons are very indicative of toy sales. And there was still the mentality when Young Justice was on that if you couldn't market toys, then the series doesn't necessarily compete. Because if you're not selling merchandise along with it, then the show is just a kind of a massive waste of money.
Yeah.
So if the marketing and the merchandise isn't there, then they'll just cancel a television show. They'll just cancel a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is still that mentality that cartoons are supposed to be marketed to children and marketed to young adults. So if you have what would be a very young adult television show, can't really market merchandise for it, because at that point everybody's grown out of.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's again going back to the double-edged sword. It's one of those, but they plan on bringing it back finally. Calling it, I think they're continuing where the series ended. If you watch the trailer and you were a fan of Young Justice, you'll see what I'm talking about, because a lot of the stuff that they mentioned in the trailer was stuff that happened at the tail end of the series.
Okay.
And they will be releasing it through DC's new streaming service, DC Universe, sometime in 2019. And on that end, speaking of the DC Universe, we had the trailer for Titans, which is definitely going to be running the edginess of what you can put on your own streaming service.
Yeah, seriously.
We have Robin, Dick Grayson, following his well-known story of losing his parents in, trapeze quote-unquote accident. He ends up becoming a superhero of his own right and starts his own
super team
called the Titans, or Teen Titans, but the show itself is going to be Titans.
Yeah,
it's going to feature,
they're going to leave the teen out of it.
Yeah, they're going to feature Robin, Raven. It looked like Beast Boy was going to be in it, and Starfire. I did not see Cyborg. I don't remember seeing Cyborg.
I don't remember seeing him either.
So, of course, Cyborg was in Justice League.
Yes.
So, I don't know if there's going to be some crossover there or not. The bigger question for me is, if they do introduce Cyborg into Titans, is it going to be the same actor who played him in Justice League? Because he was relatively young in Justice League.
Yeah. DC seems like they're not super concerned with letting their properties cross.
Yeah. Well,
like
yes and no.
Movie Flash isn't CW Flash.
Right, yeah. It's not Grant Gustin, who's my favorite Flash.
Which is the TV Flash?
Yeah, that's the TV Flash.
Okay.
Although I haven't actually seen Justice League yet. I liked the stuff that I saw in the trailers for whoever the other guy's name is.
Ezra Miller, I think.
Ezra Miller, yeah. He was good. He definitely brought a lot more comedy, honestly, than Grant Gustin does. But the whole staff of the Flash television show, they have other comic reliefs. So where Barry Allen isn't really the comic relief in the television show, he's part of the comic relief in Justice League.
Okay, because Flash in the Justice League movie was 100% the comic relief.
Yeah, absolutely.
Titans has the famous line I saw everybody posting about, the fuck Batman line.
Yeah, yeah. So we see him drop in and they're like, oh, where's Batman or something like that. And Robin just yells, fuck Batman after capping some motherfuckers. Apparently, the internets and the nerds abound were not particularly happy about seeing Robin kill motherfuckers.
He didn't use a gun, though. He used like a grappling hook gun.
Did he?
From what I remember, he like...
So we refresh our memory just a little bit, and he does indeed use one of the bad guys' guns to shoot the other bad guys. Now, it's dark in this alley. Perhaps he just shot to maim, or perhaps he just outright killed these guys. But yeah, so that has a lot of the nerds up in arms a bit, because Robin traditionally does not kill people, as neither does Batman. But at the same time, I think that these characters didn't kill not necessarily because they weren't capable of killing or because of some moral standing. Like, that's how they've played it over the years, but I think it's primarily because earlier on in these characters' development, it was not something that you could really do.
Was murder.
Was straight up murder. There was always this stigma like, you can't murder in comic books. You can't murder in television shows. That sort of thing. And I think we've come a long way from that.
I don't know. Before the comics code came about, there were some pretty fucked up comics out there.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of like murder, true crime comics became a thing before the comics code, and then they had to switch it to zombies.
That's valid. Yeah. So I don't know. Either way.
I mean, Batman kills in the new movies anyway. Batman uses rocket guns on his car.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is Batman has had all of these tools at his disposal. All of these tools at his disposal that are straight up murder machines. Like, they're not all passive crowd control elements. They're bullets and knives and swords and other implements of actual bodily harms.
Sword bullets,
bullet swords. I feel like we're getting into Who Framed Roger Rabbit territory.
How so?
The cartoon bullets that he uses.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, man, yeah. Never mind. We'll get into it later.
Unrelated.
It's unrelated. For those of you who remember Who Framed Roger Rabbit better than Brandon does, you know what I'm saying.
See, because I hear this, that people are up in arms. Pun definitely intended that Robin uses a gun to shoot people.
Yeah.
And I don't care, and I think people take things too seriously. But then I also try to temper myself and realize that Robin's not my character. I'm not a Robin fan. And I could see if you were a big Robin fan, and his whole thing is that he doesn't use weapons, or he doesn't use guns, he doesn't kill people, and suddenly he is, I could see why you'd be upset about it.
Yeah. And I mean, there was a huge DC standing, too, when it came out in SDCC. So continuing on that line, we talked last week about Batwoman. She is going to be partaking in the Arrowverse. We got trailers for Arrow, Flash, and Supergirl, all 3 seasons. The 3 new seasons coming out for those.
Yeah.
Batwoman is going to make her debut apparently in one of the crossover events that's going to happen. We kind of found out, it's not exactly SDCC news, but we find out that Frances McDormand was in talks to play the Joker's mother in the new Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, which it's apparently just going to be called Joker.
She was in talks or is in talks?
She was in talks, but she has since passed on it.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I really like her as an actress.
I don't know if I've seen her in anything.
She's in American Horror Story is how I know her from.
Okay.
She's in every season of it.
Gotcha.
Or most seasons, I think every season.
Like I said, apparently the name of it is just going to be called Joker. Again, it's going to be an origin story for the Joker, which, there are several origin stories for the Joker, so we'll see how this all pans out. And apparently they're only using $55 million for the budget, which seems to indicate that it won't be special effects heavy.
Yeah, it won't be this grandiose thing.
Yeah, it'll be more storyline driven, which would make sense,
Yeah.
for an origin story.
It's kind of like Logan.
Yeah.
Logan I've seen comparisons online, actually. I didn't just come up with that comparison. I've seen them using it online.
Yeah.
Logan had a very similar budget and was just very visceral. You didn't have huge sweeping set pieces or anything like that.
Yeah, and it didn't have to because it was all very insular. It was very personal.
Yeah.
I don't know, the more I'm hearing about it, the more excited I am about it, but at the same time there's this nagging feeling in the back of my head that Joker doesn't need an origin story. That's part of his appeal.
The fact that they're using such a low budget on it actually makes me more interested.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will give you that. I'm right on board with you on that. So moving on, we also got a trailer for Adventure Time. This is going to be the last season of Adventure Time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens there. I kind of fell out of it, partially because our TiVo didn't continue to record them as it was supposed to. So that happens sometimes.
Because it didn't record, you were just like, whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
That was the long and the short of it. So it is now set up to record. I think we missed a season, but Pendleton Ward hasn't been involved with it for the past couple of seasons now, who was the creator of the series. And it kind of shows in the storytelling. It's not the same.
Is it like trying to approximate what it once was?
Yeah, I feel it is.
Okay.
Only sometimes they miss the mark. There have been good tales from it, and it's still a good series. It's just without Pendleton Ward being the main vision behind it, it didn't feel the same.
He really found something special with Adventure Time.
Yeah.
With creating it.
So moving on to Star Wars news then.
Yep.
We have Poe Dameron facing charges for disobeying orders, mutiny, conduct unbecoming of an officer, and being court-martialed by real legal representatives. There was a real judge. There were real lawyers.
Seriously?
Yep, a real JAG agent, all present to make sure that it went off as a real court-martial would.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Yeah. This is from Sci-Fi Wire, or sci-fi.com. This is on their news site. It is Star Wars fans held a legal court-martialing for Poe Dameron with real judges. So we had a few people who were playing Poe Dameron and Princess Leia Organa, or Organa, however you want to say it.
You say Organa, I say Organa.
Let's blow the whole thing off. I saw bits and snippets of it. It looked pretty interesting. You had the crowd like clapping and laughing and all of this, which kind of helps because the actors do a very good job at staying in character for the better part of it.
Yeah.
And we had people dressed up in uniform and all of that. Looked like a pretty good time. Just a fun little thing that happened.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I would love to go to San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, that would be good.
I was talking to Wizard in the Wardrobe, Keisha, about that because she's been to San Diego Comic-Con before.
Oh, has she?
Yeah, and she said a couple years ago, and she said that it's just the lines are just unbearably long for anything you want to do.
Yeah.
And that would be the downside. Is I would love to go to it, but it's one of those things that you'd go to, at least for me, I'd go to just to say that I did.
Yeah.
And probably wouldn't enjoy it a whole lot because you're waiting 4 hours to see one thing.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way for any of those big cons like BlizzCon or PAX. I hear PAX is very user-friendly, but at the same time, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of things to wait for. So I'm of the same mind. I don't know. Well, that and just having that many people around you. Like, I like small cons. I really don't mind them. But when it's packed full of people... Ooh.
Yeah, that would be a little crazy.
I mean, SDCC has outgrown the San Diego Comic-Con or San Diego Convention Center.
Mm.
It is far outgrown it. I mean, there's more people there than rightfully should be. Like from a protective and legal standpoint, I would say, you know?
They have to be watched by fire marshals and stuff, though. I bet they go right up to that line.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. But still, it would definitely be a cool thing to go to just once to say, yeah, I've been to San Diego Comic-Con, but I'm in the same boat as you. Yeah. I think it would be a trying experience, to be sure. Unless you really had a good idea of what you were going to hit. Like, you have to do some fucking planning.
Yeah.
To go there. You say, okay, these are the events that's going to be here. I'm going to hit this, and this. I'm going to do it at this time, and this time.
I think it'd be fun. I don't even know if I'd go to any panels. I think I'd do a lot of walking around and shopping.
Yeah.
Really.
I think you would have to the first year. That way you could get your bearings. But if you had a plan to go multiple years, I think that the first year you should definitely spend just meandering aimlessly just to fully understand what you're getting into, and then the next year maybe visit some panels and do those things.
Yeah.
But continuing on with the Star Wars news, they are bringing back the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I saw this. How'd you feel about this one? You liked Rebels more than Clone Wars, didn't you?
Well, I hadn't seen all of the Clone Wars. It was a good series. I watched, I would say, about 3/4 of it before. I think I ended up just not having cable during the last tail end of it or something like that, so I couldn't watch it. And I would watch a lot of it from work as well, so it also depended on the shift that I was working at the time.
Yeah,
but I really enjoyed the series. I can't say that I enjoyed Rebels any more or less. It was more of a familiar thing, only with new characters and different tales.
Okay,
so it's a little surprising that they're bringing Clone Wars back, but at the same time, if there's more stories to tell, that's the big thing. They're also bringing Ahsoka Tano back, who is probably the most popular character created outside of the original characters from George Lucas's Star Wars.
Really? She's that popular?
Yes. She's incredibly popular.
I guess maybe spoilers for the end of Clone Wars or whatever. I thought she left. I thought that's how it ended, is she just kind of fucked off.
Kinda, yeah. She became...
She was like a gray Jedi?
Yeah, she was like a gray Jedi or shadow Jedi or whatever you want to call them. Whatever their kids are calling them nowadays.
Some sort of rouge Jedi.
Yeah, some sort of rogue rouge Jedi. But yeah, she kind of distanced herself from the path of the Jedi. She was still in touch with the Force, but she was more like... in Rebels, we got introduced to the character of the Bendu, who was this massive, blind, Force-sensitive creature that was neither dark nor light side.
He was a creature?
Yes. He was an alien creature.
Was he like the originator of the Force or anything?
Not that I know of, no. No, those were the actual, like, the Force gods, which we did meet in Clone Wars. And they remade an appearance in Rebels as well in the last season.
Every time we talk about this stuff, I keep thinking I need to watch it because I'm a huge Star Wars fan and there's a lot of Star Wars stuff in there.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of it.
And it's all canon too.
Yeah, you should absolutely watch it. They're so good, man.
Yeah.
It would be a great thing for you to binge watch over like a week and a half.
There's a lot of Clone Wars.
There is. Yeah, there's a lot. That's why I said binge watch over a week and a half. There's a lot. A lot of Clone Wars, and there was like, I think 4 seasons of Rebels. 4 or 5.
I'll have to check and see if it's on Netflix. If it is, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And it is interesting, too, because you do get to see the story of Ahsoka. You know, she starts off in the Clone Wars as not a main character, but just the Padawan of Anakin. And she grows and she becomes a general in the army and a Jedi of power in her young age in her own right, and then realizes that this isn't necessarily the path that she wants to take, and she disappears for a little while, and then we see her come back in Rebels, and the growth of that character is awesome, and that's one of the reasons why she's so beloved by the people who have invested time in these series.
Because she's so well written.
Yeah, she is. She's a very well-rounded, interesting character.
So if Clone Wars is coming back and she returned in Rebels,
yes,
then this is going to be her coming back before she returns in Rebels.
Yes, I would assume so.
Okay. Convoluted.
Yeah.
Is a word I would use to describe that.
And I guess it'll depend largely on where they pick up. Maybe they're going to pick it up a little earlier on and just tell some other stories that can be slotted in.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they could. There's no reason they couldn't.
To just put them in a different time frame?
Yeah, just extra stories that were never touched on in the original series.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So it could go all different kinds of ways. Or we could see, maybe Anakin has to seek her out for one reason or another before he becomes Darth Vader. Spoilers.
What? Sounds good. I will have to check it out.
So I think that's going to go ahead and wrap up our SDC coverage. There was a lot more. I still have a lot more that I could talk about, but
we can hit up more of it next week.
Yeah, if anybody's interested. If not, no big deal. We can just move on. Just let us know in the comments below if you want to hear anything else that's come out of SDC. I know that there was a lot of stuff that's supposed to be releasing in October, kind of spooky extra comics, and in more Star Wars news, there's like a 5-run.
It's like a horror comic, isn't it?
A 5-part series called Tales from Vader's Castle. That's supposed to drop just in time for Halloween. If you want to hear more about that, either look it up or let us know.
Yep.
Preferably let us know. It'll give us something to talk about.
Yeah, it'll give us less work for next week.
Yeah.
So, Remington, there's a rumor.
Okay.
That Russia is going to be sending weightlifting, gun-toting robots to the International Space Station.
What? Weightlifting, gun-toting robots?
They have already invented weightlifting, gun-toting robots.
Okay.
Robots that can shoot a gun holding it with 2 hands.
Okay.
That already exists. An unnamed source in the rocket and space industry told the RIA Novosti, Russia's international news agency, that Russia plans on sending 2 of these up in an unmanned ship to the International Space Station in 2019. 2 of their weightlifting, gun-toting robots.
So they're going to be sending these robots who have been created, not necessarily with guns and or weights to lift.
Yes.
So the robot is capable of handling a firearm, but it's not necessarily. See, I mean, that's burying the lead, as it were.
The robots can either work autonomously or you can control the robots yourself.
Okay, so they have a little bit of AI in them.
Yes.
But you can control them as well. Okay.
See, I don't know. Maybe they will send them lifting weights the entire time.
Well, no, because when you send something into space, you want it to be as light as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not just going to send up weights for a robot that literally does not need weights to lift.
There's probably weights on the space station.
Yeah, probably.
So the robots
there would have to be,
can lift
I
weights
guess.
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because the astronauts still need to keep their muscles in a working fashion because zero gravity wreaks havoc on the human body.
I just love the idea that this ship docks with the space station and these 2 robots step out. Dos Vidonia.
Dos Vidonia, comrades.
In other news, I talked about... That's all I had.
That's pretty funny. Okay, so not really gun-toting.
No, they literally know how to shoot guns.
Well, yes, they know,
robots.
but they're not bringing guns to the international.
You don't know that.
I can guarantee that they are not. Okay,
you cannot say with 100% certainty.
Yes, I can. Nobody else would be on board for that. It's an international space station for a reason. The international community has to agree on what's being sent up.
I feel like I'm going to have to strongly agree to disagree with you on this one. Because the article said specifically weightlifting gun-toting robots.
Yeah, but it doesn't say that they're sending guns. They're not sending armed robots to the International Space Station, Brandon. I refuse to believe any of that.
We will see this. We will see who's right in 2019.
We will. Malarkey, fake news. Bullshitter.
Speaking of fake news, Remington, the black sarcophagus that we talked about last week was opened.
Yay!
I felt like a real jackass.
Yeah?
Because we talked about it and I was like, they're going to milk it for a while.
Yeah, they're not going to open it.
And then it was opened before the episode even came out.
Yeah.
Did you read what they found inside of it?
I did not. I figured I'd wait for you to follow up.
They found 3 skeletons of what they think were soldiers.
Oh, okay.
So really nothing spectacular.
Okay.
And there was also sewage that had leaked into it where it had been cracked.
Ew.
So it was full of 3 skeletons and sewage.
3 skeletons,
like a red liquid sewage.
Ew.
So since this has come out, and this is where the internet comes in.
So probably heavily iron laden.
Yes. This is where the internet becomes this amazing phenomenon.
Okay.
So this is all I've told you. They found the black sarcophagus.
Yes.
There were 3 skeletons inside.
Yes.
It was filled with red sewage.
Yes.
Where does the internet come into play, Remington? Where does this story go? If you were to just hazard a wild guess, because in a million years, unless you've heard this already, you'll never guess where this story goes from here.
Then I will safely say that I won't guess it.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and lay it on me. What ridiculousness did the internet label?
The internet... Specifically, I didn't write his name down, but he was a British video game programmer.
Okay.
Created a change.org petition, almost up to 25,000 names signed so far. The description of the petition says, "We need to drink the red liquid from the cursed dark sarcophagus in the form of some sort of carbonated energy drink so we can assume its powers and finally die."
Thank you, internet, for taking it to that place that we dare not venture.
There was one of the few comments that the creator of the petition said is he posted an update where he said, "They're telling us this is sewage. Don't believe them. Skeletons don't poop."
Oh, skeletons don't poop.
Yeah.
Nope. No, they don't.
So
they don't have the equipment.
That story could not have turned out better because once it gets to 25,000 signatures with the change.org position, typically that number of signatures warrants a response of some kind.
Right.
So
I will tell you what the response will be from the scientific community
from Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities.
Yes. Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities is, "You guys are fucking dumb. We're not going to let you drink sewage. Find something better to do with your time. Like, I don't know, maybe learn more about the Egyptian societies and cultures."
Well, why they got to be all shitty about it?
Because I think we suffer in this day and age of people not being shitty enough to each other in the right way.
You mean like the Ministry of Antiquities not saying, "Fuck you guys, go learn something"?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I think that is the appropriate response to be shitty about. What are you doing, internet? You are dumb. Go read a book.
And finally, do you want to talk about James Gunn?
I think we can touch on it.
Okay.
If that'll be the end of the episode, I think we can touch on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So James Gunn was fired from Disney.
Yes.
And fired as director of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, amongst all of his other probably unnamed projects he was working on for Disney.
Right.
Because it's a multifaceted story, really.
Yes.
There was a right-wing group that had gone after him because he was very outspokenly anti-Trump.
Yes.
They dug up a bunch of old tweets of his from 2009
Right.
that they made Disney aware of. Disney immediately fired him after seeing these tweets.
Yes.
Did you see what the tweets were?
Yes. And they were...
He makes a lot of jokes about having sex with little boys. He made a rape joke that was like not funny.
Yeah, there were a lot of shock value tweets that came from James Gunn during that period. So he apologized for them on Twitter in a 2-part post. He said I'm not going to really read the tweets. They were, like Brandon was saying, they were really distasteful. They were gross.
They weren't funny.
But he at least apologizes for his actions. And again, this happened in 2009, so nearly 10 years ago. Many people who have followed my career know when I started, I viewed myself as a provocateur, making movies and telling jokes that were outrageous and taboo. As I have discussed publicly many times, I have developed as a person, so has my work and my humor. It's not to say I'm better, but I am very, very different than I was a few years ago. Today, I try to root my work in love and connection and less in anger. My days saying something just because it's shocking and trying to get a reaction are over. In the past, I have apologized for humor of mine that hurt people. I truly felt sorry and meant every word of my apologies. For the record, when I made these shocking jokes, I wasn't living them out. I know this is a weird statement to make and seems obvious, but still, here I am saying it.
He's referring to the pedophilia stuff because the alt-right group that tweeted it, or that brought it to Disney's attention, is trying to play him off like he's a pedophile, like he meant what he was writing.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the completely honest truth. I used to make a lot of offensive jokes. I don't anymore. I don't blame my past self for any of this, but I like myself more and feel like a more full human being and creator today. Love to you all. He also said that he does not hold any begrudgedness to Disney for their decision. He said he fully accepts the decision that Disney made in his firing. But this goes to this larger thing where there are times where you can hold the past hold people accountable for something that has happened in their past. For instance, if we find out that Hitler is still alive today, living in Puerto Rico or wherever they say that he was living, it would absolutely 100% be okay to hold him responsible for his war crimes in World War II.
Okay.
Because he killed 1 billion people.
Yeah, I gotcha.
If we were to find out that James Gunn was an actual pedophile, which I don't believe is the case.
No.
Absolutely hold that against him, Absolutely. That is a gross, disgusting thing that should never be brought to a child. The kind of pain and torment that can cause in life to a child.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then we have this overbearing need that just because somebody speaks ill against your leader or whatever, in the United States, which is supposed to be our prime tenet is freedom of speech. And, I've even said in the past, just because we have freedom of speech doesn't mean you shouldn't be held responsible for it.
Yeah.
There are consequences to what you say.
Disney is well within their rights to fire him for these tweets.
And it is good of him to acknowledge that they have that right.
Yeah.
But it really boils down to me being important to know the fine line between when you've made a joke, when that joke fails, when you should own up to that joke, and when you should apologize for it.
He apologized for this stuff too. It originally was drudged up in 2012.
Yeah.
And he apologized for it then.
Yeah.
So this is making its second round.
Exactly. And it's a little bit of a shame on Disney for, not doing their research and then hiring somebody who this could have potential backlash about.
They probably knew.
I'm sure
they probably knew and were just like, well, he apologized. It's been long enough. Whatever.
Yeah.
Don't tweet this kind of shit anymore, James. Don't worry, I won't.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not that kind of a guy anymore.
Yeah.
It's just, you have to ask yourself what you're okay with dealing with, I guess. Like, back then he was a shitty person because of these tweets, but he is not that person anymore.
Yeah.
So
I don't even know if I'd call him a shitty person.
Well,
he just made shitty jokes.
Yeah.
He was trying
or
to
shitty
shock
observations.
people.
Yeah. The shock humor is, I've never been a big fan of shock humor anyway.
Yeah.
It's eye rolly to me. Mm-hmm. It's okay, I get it. You're fucking edgy, whatever.
Yeah.
That kind of shit pisses me off. And those tweets, like I read through most of them and I was just like, okay, this is poor taste and not funny and generally gross.
Yeah.
But never once while reading them did I think James Gunn is
a pedophile.
Is a pedophile, yeah. I mean, because a pedophile doesn't put it out there like that.
Yeah.
A pedophile hides because they know that it's not something that they should be doing.
Well, the guy who kind of organized this campaign against him, the right-winger, the alt-right winger, is one of the big proponents of Pizzagate.
Yeah.
That big conspiracy that turned out to be totally false.
Right.
About the pizza place that had whatever. Everybody knows what Pizzagate is. So they have learned that you can call somebody a pedophile. I feel like that's kind of the banner that they get behind is trying to out people as pedophiles who aren't pedophiles.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the most vile things you can call a person is a pedophile.
Right. And I think the bigger issue is this need to politicize all of this stuff. Like, this is in response to the fact that James Gunn doesn't like Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, if we boil it down to brass tacks, that's what it is.
Mm.
He doesn't like him as a leader. He doesn't like him as a human being, and he has spoken out against him. So let's dig up a bunch of fucking old dirt to throw into somebody's face. And the same can be said for people digging up shit on Trump.
Yeah.
The same thing, Granted, some of the stuff that Trump did was way more recent too, so it makes you realize, maybe he hasn't changed as a person. Yeah. From previous tweets.
Well, and there's a lot of
previous stuff.
With Donald Trump, there's a lot of legality questions with the things that are being brought up.
Right, yeah, and there's that too.
Especially being president and the campaign and stuff. There's a lot of questions there that are kind of unrelated. I would say more comparison would be to Roseanne being fired.
Yeah.
And we were okay with Roseanne being fired. Mostly. Because she just tweeted something super racist.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? Because she did it.
Because it was recent.
Okay.
That wasn't Roseanne showing that she was a changed person or wasn't a racist person. She was, and even still, it was meant as a joke, but it was a poor taste joke. So whether or not, because I remember saying this, whether or not Roseanne is actually racist, I don't know if she is or not. The tweet certainly kind of leads you to think that she at least has some racist tendencies.
Yeah.
I also don't think that racist humor is inherently wrong humor. I think it's crass and poor taste humor, but I think it's humor nonetheless. It's like, for instance, Blazing Saddles is one of my favorite movies, and it's racist as hell. But you come into it knowing that these are all stereotyping jokes, and they're delivered well, and it's presented well. And that's the difference between the two. Blazing Saddles, does it put to light a bunch of racist tendencies? Absolutely. In fact, apparently the Wild West wasn't really all that racist from some historical accounts.
Yeah. Well, Blazing Saddles, does it with kind of a wink, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The racism.
Yeah, it is. And the main character is an African-American fellow. That's the whole point, is him facing against the racist tendencies of the Wild West at the time that they
kind of just made up.
Yeah. So, whereas in regard to Roseanne, she made a very veiled racist comment about an African-American woman. Well, not very veiled, very lightly veiled.
Yeah. There was no veil at all, really. A wisp of a veil.
It was a wisp of a veil. Like, it was calling a black person... It wasn't calling a black person a monkey, basically.
Planet of the Apes meets Muslim Brotherhood or something.
Yeah, that's what it was, yeah. So, she didn't straight out say black person equals monkey. She was saying Planet of the Apes, which kind of puts that thought in your brain.
Yeah.
And anybody who knows the past and history of that kind of correlation, you know basically what she's saying.
Roseanne put out a YouTube video where she said, "I thought the bitch was white."
Yeah.
Like, that's her argument, is she's saying that she didn't know she was black when she said that.
Right.
Like, come on. Really?
I hadn't heard about the "I thought the bitch was white" thing.
Yeah.
As far as it goes, is Valerie kind of light-skinned for an African-American woman?
I'd say so.
But it's neither here nor there.
Yeah, because you don't make those specific comments thinking somebody's white. It wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And again, the statute of time limitations is what I'm talking about here. You know, 9 years ago, James Gunn made a bunch of poor taste, not funny, shock valued comments on social media and has grown as a human being since then. Roseanne, months ago, made veiled racist comments about basically a political opponent.
Yeah.
So
there's the difference.
I
agree. I just wanted to hear your take on it, but I totally agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just, I feel the same way about when Ben Affleck caught all the flack for the video that he made when he looked like he was honestly borderline stoned and being super flirty with a girl in an interview and like inappropriately touched her or something.
Oh, okay.
It was like, I don't know, 15, 20 years prior in his career. And then he was all speaking out against the abuse of women in Hollywood and sexualization and all of that.
So people brought up that video.
And people brought that up. Yeah. We all make mistakes when we're young and stupid and opinionated and realize that nobody gives a shit about what we have to say.
Yeah. I think everybody who tries to be an entertainer, tries to be a comedian of some kind, goes through that shock humor period, though.
Yeah. That's part of it. It's part of growing up, is the edgy period.
Yeah.
You know, it's tantamount to going through your goth phase.
When you think like, I'm going to say something or I'm going to do something that nobody said before.
Yeah. Or I'm going to say something that's going to get everybody to look at me.
Yeah.
You know, that's all it is. And it's an absolutely necessary thing during our formative time as a human being to get those reactions and for people to respond in kind and tell us, hey, that is wrong. Hey, you're being dumb. Hey, you're being overly dramatic. Hey, what you're saying is hurting other people. That's how we grow.
Mm.
Drudging it up 10 years later and saying, hey, this is all stuff that you shouldn't have said. Well, of course it is.
Yeah. And I apologize. In James Gunn's situation, too, he apologized for it once already.
He's like, of course it is. I apologize for it. I apologized for it 6 years ago.
Yeah. So there's a petition online right now, over 100,000 signatures to get James Gunn rehired.
Yeah.
Disney's probably not going to do it, I wouldn't imagine.
I don't
At
figure.
this point, they've kind of made. Dave Bautista, who plays Drax, has come out and said that he thinks it's unfair. Michael Rooker.
I will say, Dave Bautista, I will have more to say, but for now, all I will say is this. James Gunn is one of the most loving, caring, good-natured people I have ever met. He's kind and gentle and cares deeply for people and animals. He's made mistakes. We all have. I'm not okay with what's happening to him. Zoe Saldana, it's been a challenging weekend. I'm not going to lie. I'm pausing myself to take everything in before I speak out of term. I just want everyone to know I love all members of my Guardians of the Galaxy family and always will. Chris Pratt posted a Bible verse, James 1:19. Understand this, my dear brothers and sisters. Let every person be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. And you said Rooker had one as well? That one wasn't...
Rooker left Twitter completely.
Oh, okay.
He posted, like, where we're at now. This is super paraphrasing.
Okay.
Because I only read it once. But basically, where we're at now, I find it disgusting what would happen. He doesn't mention James Gunn by name.
Yeah.
He just mentions things that are happening lately.
Yeah.
I'm leaving Twitter forever. My publicist is leaving as well. He won't be on here anymore. I'll see you on Instagram. So.
Okay. So there you go.
That's the James Gunn story.
That's the James Gunn tale. Let us know what you think. Do you think, honestly, that people need to be held accountable for bullshit that they've said in their past that is inaccurate, false to who they are as a person now. Should they be held 100% accountable for it, or should they at least get some, not a pass, you know? You still want to answer for that stuff. But if somebody genuinely comes off with an apology that says, you know, I'm not this person anymore, this was a person that I was in the past, and that I have learned and grown from that position, should they have the ability to recover from it or not suffer these massive consequences from it?
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Give us your opinion. Call in.
Yeah, absolutely. Call in 978-DU Ogres and let us know how you feel in regard to this being a part of the Roseanne discussion. Do you think that we're being hypocritical by saying past versus more recent? Is it in the same vein? Should we still hold Roseanne so highly accountable for it, for her statements, simply on the merit that they're more recent?
Yeah, did the fact that she apologized afterwards make up for it? Who knows? I don't think so. Especially because she then put out a video saying, I thought the bitch was white, and basically going back on her apology.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's just one person's opinion.
Yeah. So let us know. If you have any questions or comments, or you'd like to hear yourself on air, you can call us at 978-DU Ogres. That's 978-386-4737. You can also reach us on Twitter at Dueling Ogres. Email us at duelingogres@gmail.com, or leave a comment on the Facebook page like these nice people. Brandon, go.
We got 2 comments this week. We had one from Viscount Terry W. Irvin II, who says, it's not just trash left outside apartment complex or businesses. Our home is sadly susceptible. People shove trash like empty energy drink cans into our taxus bushes as they pass by our house, and regularly toss empty water bottles on my neighbor's corner lot lawn. Frowny face. So I can identify with your annoyance and frustration. The time Remington dedicates for editing the podcast definitely improves its quality, giving Dueling Ogres an additional edge over the competition. Damn right.
Yeah.
Maybe many new podcasters lack the editing software and or skills, or maybe they lack Rem's motivation. I'm going to say it's probably a little of both.
Probably.
Jordan Lowe, our Mr. Big to our Carrie, the head of the Kapow Pop Culture podcast, our rivals, had this to say.
I don't know if any one of them are the head.
Is it? Oh, they do it in Jordan's store. I
don't know where they actually record primarily.
Oh.
It would be more like the head of one of the heads of the Hydra.
Okay.
So basically, I'm saying Kapow, the Pop Culture podcast, is the Hydra to our shield.
It's a monster. This should be slain. So, see, I was picturing an actual Hydra.
Yeah, so am I. A Hydra has multiple heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
but I wouldn't say he's
Hercules.
I wouldn't say he's the main head. I think all heads are equal.
Thick body. He's the lovable.
Will you just read his statement before
body
you keep
of the Hydra?
Just don't dig. Quit digging.
Not working at Owen Wilson. Wow, anywhere into your discussion of World of Warcraft. Wow. Should penalize you a point on your podcast license.
Okay.
He has a point there.
Yeah, I will give you that.
Fun fact. Here's a Jordan Lowe fun fact.
See, this is why Jordan gets a pass on the Kapow Pop Cultured vitriol train that doesn't really exist.
Yeah, that we forget most of the time.
Is that he is the comic book expert extraordinaire.
Mm-hmm. Owning a comic book shop will do that to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Fun fact, Batwoman was originally introduced in the 50s to domesticate Batman and erase the homosexual undertones worried parents were told would give their kids impure thoughts. So making the modern one a lesbian is wonderful poetic justice.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There you go.
I was thrown off by your yeah.
Sorry. I ruined Brandon's delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for the comments.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Comment on our Facebook. We asked 1 million questions of you, the listeners, so answer some of them for us.
Yes. Do that, please. Make sure to subscribe on our website, duelingogres.com, for news shows, articles pertaining to some of your favorite geek news. I am under the impression that Amanda Parsons will be back at some point here in the near future for more YouTube celebrity profiles.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes. I don't know when, but for certain personal reasons, I also send out my heart and love to her.
Okay.
And her family. So we definitely have that to look forward to here in the near future. If you would like to write your own nerdy, geeky articles, you can always email us at duelingogres@gmail.com as well, or bloggers@duelingogres.com is a more appropriate way to get a hold of that particular aspect. You can send us an article that you've already pre-written. I will republish articles that you've published other places before. Or if you are not cool with writing, you're like, oh man, my writing's garbage, I'll help you spruce it up.
Yeah. And
I'll let you know how not bad it probably is. And if it is really bad, I'll let you know that too, because I don't gild the lily, as they say.
That's a good turn of phrase.
Yeah, thank you. And finally, be sure to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or find us on YouTube, iHeartRadio, or nearly anywhere else you can find a podcast, except for Stumbled Upon.
Yeah, which we killed.
So until next week, Ogres, keep your clubs blunt.
And your tusks sharp.
Good night. FIDO stands for
Fingers in Dogs Owners. Physical information, dull, okay. Fiscal irrigation, doesn't. Opportunity. Flamingo inventory, don't overdo it.
Why did I want a Crest 3D white smile? Dinner date.
autoplay is a dumb fucking thing.
But I want to know why she wanted a Crest 3D white smile, Remington.
Too bad.
If you want to find out why she had a Crest 3D white smile, leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
You can also reach us. Oh, make sure to subscribe.
Is that a fart?
No.
No.
No, I just realized I was reading the wrong paragraph. Was that a fart?
I thought you went, oh.
Reading a statement. Oh, I gotta poop. Everybody out now. Now!